I want to reiterate that the case isn't solved. It's really just beginning now.
Just beginning. First at 6, new details emerging in a decades-old cold case out of Ottawa County. Remains were found back in 1994, and today, after all that time, we learned the victim's name.
Fox 17's Lauren Edwards live in the newsroom after hearing from detectives. Lauren?
Yeah, Doug and Janice, for years and years she was called only Matilda, kind of like Jane Doe. But today we learned her name is Shelly Rae Kephart, and it may not seem like a huge development, but for detectives, they tell us that this piece of information, their investigation into what actually happened when she died, can begin.
Where we were able to identify a missing person named Shelly Rae Christian, or Shelly Rae Kephart.
After 27 years of investigating a homicide, Captain Jake Sparks and other detectives say they've been able to identify the victim.
Her given name is Kephart, Shelly Rae Kephart. However, she went by Shelly Christian. So what she was going by when she made it up to West Michigan back in 1993 or 94, we're not exactly sure. That's part of what we're hoping people can help us with.
The Ottawa County Sheriff's Office says back in 1994, hunters were out rabbit hunting in Coopersville when they came across skeletal remains. The case was deemed a homicide after an autopsy report, and the bones belonged to a woman. Not knowing her name, they called her Matilda.
And unfortunately, the victim had never been identified. The case grew cold because we didn't even have the victim identified, thus couldn't make a real legitimate identification of any suspect.
Throughout the years, Captain Sparks says they investigated it on and off, working with medical examiners and other agencies, but nothing resulted and they had no leads. Until last year when they teamed up with the Doe Project on obtaining DNA, which led them to Minneapolis.
So after meeting with family down there, doing quite a bit more investigation, we were able to get some DNA samples from family down there in Minnesota.
And we're able to identify the victim as Shelly Rae Kephart, a huge gain for the investigators.
In an investigation, I think the main challenge in not having a name is not being able to trace back her steps, find out where she was last known to be.
But now they say the investigation into what happened in 1994 can begin.
It's been quite surreal, I would say, going out to talk to the family and providing some closure for them as well.
So Shelly leaves behind siblings, children, and a mother. Now in the 10 and 11 o'clock show, you're going to hear more about the person she was. Our very own Matt Wickos is speaking with her sister via Zoom. And they also asked, police were asking that, if anyone has tips or information, to please reach out to them or call the Silent Observer. Reporting live here in the newsroom, Lauren Edwards, Fox 17 News.
All right, Lauren.